This ABC 15 Flash Briefing is sponsored by Sanderson Ford. Straight up.
Hi, I'm Nick Saletti here with your top stories from ABC15 Arizona. A tragic event turned deadly. One of the cyclists who was hit by a truck during a race in Show Low last month has died. Jeremy Barrett was one of the cyclists hit a few weeks ago and spent the past several weeks in the hospital undergoing extensive surgeries. We're told he passed away Saturday. His girlfriend, along with his mother and brother from Zimbabwe, all by his side. Family and friends saying Jeremy lived life to the fullest, something they would like to see live on.
Everybody can hold on, take a piece of Jeremy, carry that forward on the bike, off the bike. Then all of a sudden we have a little bit better place. We're living with better people.
As for the suspect, Sean Chalk, he was shot and wounded during a pursuit that followed the crash. We're told more charges are expected to be filed now that Jeremy has died. The cyclist community now planning a memorial ride in his honor. COVID-19 cases are on the rise here in the U.S. According to data from Johns Hopkins University, the country had a 47% increase in cases in just the past 7 days. That's from the week before. Many of those new cases were reported in hot spots, including Florida, Missouri, Nevada, Louisiana, and Arkansas. Doctors emphasize that vaccines are key to slowing down the virus and that they're working well against the Delta variant. The CDC and FDA are monitoring reports of a possible link between a rare autoimmune disorder and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The CDC says it's received about 100 reports of Guillain-Barré syndrome out of roughly 13 million doses administered in the United States. According to reports, most cases occurred in men over the age of 50 and about 2 weeks after the vaccination.
Tens and tens and tens of millions of people, you will find an unusual or a rare event. You've always got to make a decision. Does the benefit of the vaccine outweigh the very, very unusual risk of an adverse event? And thus far with these vaccines, it's always been decided that the benefit of the vaccine outweighs the risk.
The CDC says it will have a panel of experts review the findings at an upcoming meeting. Well, vaccinated people need a COVID booster shot. Pfizer and top U.S. health officials are meeting to discuss if and when that could be necessary. Pfizer's requesting authorization for a third dose of its vaccine, suggesting it'll be needed in the next 12 months to better protect people against new COVID variants. According to TGen, the more contagious Delta variant made up about 30% of the cases in Arizona over the past month and close to 45% of cases in just the last few weeks. Dr. Janice Johnson from Redirect Health says right now there's no reason to get a third shot, but as more data on immunity levels and the Delta variant come out, that could change.
The scientists are doing is they're studying to see the effects of what happens over time. And so they're going to be ready when that time, if it does come, that we're ready and we're not scrambling at the last minute to have a booster.
CDC and FDA say Americans who've been fully vaccinated do not need a booster shot at this time, but say those who aren't vaccinated remain at high risk, with virtually all COVID hospitalizations and deaths happening among those unvaccinated. How well do you tip? A lot of us relied on takeout or delivery during the pandemic, but our tipping habits haven't necessarily kept up, even in the difficult year for restaurants. Creditcards.com releasing a survey finding only 17% of people who pick up takeout always tip. A little over half of people are tipping all the time. It can be unclear how much you should be tipping in these cases because you're not receiving the same service, of course, as a sit-down restaurant.
For takeout, I don't think you always have to tip. I think this is one where if the restaurant is primarily a takeout business, there's maybe not as much of an expectation. But if it's more of a sit-down restaurant that just happens to be offering takeout, that's a time when it might be nice to tip something like 10% to show appreciation for the staff, but also to acknowledge that they put the work in and they probably juggled this among other things.
I was a server for many, many years. I can attest those tips are important. The survey says on average among the people tipping when they're picking up food, they're leaving 15%. It increases to 17% for food delivery and 20% for tips at a sit-down restaurant.
Well, our storm chances are on the rise. Time now for that most accurate forecast. I'm meteorologist Iris Hermosillo. We'll watch storms develop in north central Arizona first, and then eventually they could start to move into the valley either later this evening or by tomorrow morning. And the potential is there for some wet thunderstorms, meaning some heavy rain. There's also the potential, too, for some strong winds, damaging winds upwards of 60 miles an hour, especially in these areas highlighted in that darker green where we've got that marginal risk for severe weather. Some downburst winds possible, too, and we know that could lead to damage. And of course, the threat for flash flooding exists, and we are now under flash flood watches later today into tonight through tomorrow morning for central and northwestern Arizona, too. Now, it's still going to be pretty hot today. A high of 108 in Phoenix, topping 110 in northwest Arizona, with 80s in Flagstaff and in Show Low. But temperatures tomorrow, with mostly cloudy skies and better rain chances, will only reach the low hundreds. Then temperatures will stay just below average as we head through the weekend and as storm chances continue.
Now for the latest headlines, weather and traffic, just go to ABC15.com or download our free ABC15 mobile app.
This ABC 15 Flash Briefing is sponsored by Sanderson Ford. Straight up.